We're
What's up,
on.
everybody?
Welcome to Monday morning Star Wars. Monday morning.
Yeah, we had a Monday morning this week.
Yeah, but you know, we gotta talk about the Star Wars, man. Rolo has got Mando in the background,
I'm
and
a little bit glitchy, but
we just gotta talk about it.
yeah, I
So
mean, we again just want to reiterate, like we said last week, we switched the Star Wars talk to a specific show
mhm,
because we know that if we talk about Mando and Bad Batch every Wednesday, we're never gonna get to other topics and whatnot, and there's other stuff we want to cover. I'm sure
exactly.
Star Wars is always gonna come up on the regular show at some point.
Yeah,
But yeah, we just think it would be better to do it this way, especially for you guys. It's more condensed because if you have viewers that aren't into it or don't want spoilers, then they don't have to worry about that on the regular show. So they can come
exactly.
here for that if they want them.
Yeah,
But we will
exactly.
be talking spoilers today during the review. So that's always going to happen on our Star Wars reviews. Yeah, so just be ready for that. If you haven't seen the episodes yet of Bad Batch and Mandalorian
Go watch them
season,
and then come back.
chapter, what is it? Chapter 19 of the Mandalorian.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen them yet, come back and watch us afterwards because we're going to have some topics of conversation about this today. We got a little bit something fun to do at the end of the show too. So
yeah, it'll be fun. So I think first of all, we're going to get into Bad Batch first. I just want to preface this and say I liked the episode, but it wasn't the type of episode that I needed at the latter end of a season. I feel like it was it was very out of place.
I mean, I would agree with you and disagree with you. I see what
That's fair.
Filoni was going for there, because, but here's the thing: if that Crosshair episode wasn't there, and they were switched,
yes,
I have no problem with it.
Yes, yeah,
I have no problem with it. So, like, I think that's what made everybody go like, "Oh, this episode was mid."
Yeah,
because we just got the Zilla Beast episode. We just got the Crosshair episode.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Then we go back to this episode. Like, in my opinion, it should have, which I know that they wanted to show some time in between when Crosshair ends up on Tantus and whatnot at the end of that episode last week. But I just think that, well, I guess the week before last. But I think if they had switched them, people would still have a problem with it because it's still at the latter half of the season, and I see what he was trying to go with there, with like, oh well, now we can't go back to Sid, so we have to show somewhere for them to go, and like, yeah, that makes sense, but at the same time, did we really need it right there? I don't think so. Yeah. Again, I wouldn't have minded it as much if we had them switched with the Crosshair episode, because then you'd have the Crosshair episode, and then boom, the last 3 episodes, and they better slap.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm guessing next week's episode is going to be something like Omega gets captured or something happens, and that'll be cliffhanger at the end, and then we get the last 2 episodes on the same night, and that's going to be banger. I just think that the episode itself
is fine. Yeah,
I liked it. Like, as a, we put it as a, say it's a one-off Clone Wars episode, I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I really would have, but we don't have that much of the season left, so I see why people were like, filler. Now, do I think it's filler? No, because we got a lot of character development. We got character development with Hunter. We got character development with Tech, especially, which we've been getting these past few episodes.
I'm really liking Tech, man.
Yeah, me too. There's this theory out there that if we lose one of the members of the batch at some point in order to save Crosshair or Omega, people think it's going to be Tech, because we've gotten so much character development.
I'm not going to lie.
We're really making you like Tech, and then
yeah,
I hope they don't. I don't want to see any of the batch die yet.
I didn't like Tech in season 1, but now like I'm really liking him. Like, so like, you know,
I always liked him. He reminds me of 3PO.
Yeah, kind of.
in a way. More analytical though, but like 3PO and the way that he's always like shouting out like data and stuff like that.
That felt like a start of the season type of an episode, though. It's kind of like, like
it did.
Like, and I mean, I'm with you. It's a fine episode. I would even dare say good, but like,
I think it's a beautiful looking episode too. I think it looks really good. That city is damn cool.
It's just out of place though. It doesn't fit with what's currently going on. Like,
that city really reminded me of an island, the way it was layered, like an island Star Wars-esque version of Minas Tirith.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Rings. Like I saw a slight bit of Minas Tirith when they showed the one shot from like down on the water.
Yeah,
and like when they flew in and they showed it like panning up, I was like, that kind of looks like some of the same shots as Minas Tirith. And this is very similar to that. Yeah, or it looks like a. Quite frankly, it looks like if anybody here has ever played, excuse me, Elder Scrolls, if you've ever been to Morrowind, or you've played the game Morrowind, it looks like some dark elf designs, or some dark elf city. Looks pretty cool. I really like the look of it. I love the planet. I love the fact that everybody on the island all knew one another. They all worked together to help one another. And I like how they instantly were just like, come here, Bad Batch. You guys are cool. You guys should stay here.
Well, I disagree with what seems to be the overall consensus that the episode was mid. I get where people are coming
from. I'm not denying it was mid. Because for the last half of the season, it's definitely mid.
Yeah, yes.
Definitely mid.
Yes.
It had no real story progression in that episode.
Especially
character progression, yes. It was nice. I'm liking Omega a little bit more, but
we get that, dare I say, phenomenal Crosshair episode, and then
phenomenal's the right word.
Yeah,
phenomenal's definitely the right word. That episode slapped.
And then we get what we got, which like I said, is not bad. But when you compare them both, it's like no, like. It kind of killed the vibe.
Like we're not done talking Bad Batch yet, but like I said, if they had switched the release of those episodes, it would have gone so perfectly with Mando Chapter 19.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah,
it would have been a perfect like coupling between the Bad Batch episode with Crosshair and Chapter 19 of Mando, and we'll get to why we're gonna talk about that. But here's the other thing: they might have shown that Crosshair episode first. To remind us of, we'll talk about that after we're done with Bad Batch. And I want to go through the Mando episode. I don't want to just jump to the Pershing stuff. We'll talk about the Pershing stuff.
Yeah,
but
I do think
I thought it was really sick seeing the tsunami because they did it right. They did it right, man. And I got my Godzilla 2014 vibes, and they did it right, dude. When everyone's on the beach, they're chilling, they're on the water. It literally does do that in real life. When there's a tsunami, it will go out that far, and that's like
I've never seen one in a while.
It is terrifying, and like I was like, yeah, they're not making it, but I would have been booking it, bro. As soon as the water receded, I'm off that boat running. I'm not sitting there to wait and go, Hunter, there's a wave. Like, no, just I don't care if you've never seen a tsunami in your life. You grew up on Camino. Just book it.
The tsunami? Well, I think they're probably used to the water, though, in fairness.
Well, the city said we haven't had I forget what they called it. They didn't call it a tsunami. They called it something else, but they were like a surge.
Yes.
Or the surge. They said we haven't gotten hit by a surge in years or something or decades or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. And literally not he's like, plus the sirens would go off. And I did like the fact that it wasn't the Imperial sirens, it was literally World War II air raids. An air raid siren or a tornado siren if you live out in the Midwest of the United States, you'll hear those sometimes. I'm sure you know if anyone's out there or if you've been out there. But yeah, I thought the realism there was really well done. I thought that whole sequence of them saving all the people was really cool. I don't know if you noticed this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Fee has a thing for tech. Wanda Sykes' character has a thing for tech. She's always next to him. She's always calling him brown eyes. She's always like talking to him specifically. Who are they the ones? Who's the ones that are going around saving people like together? Them. Other than that, Wrecker's running around with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter's going around saving people, and then he's going to get Omega. Who's next to each other? Tech and Fee. And what does Fee do? She does the layup, bro. She does the layup from A New Hope. She wraps herself around Tech, and he goes, and they pulls him up. Like, I was like, dude, the thing she's saying to him, the fact she's always next to him, the fact
I didn't even
like,
catch that.
She's like, you kind of want to stay here, don't you? And he's like, I suppose I kind of do, yeah. Like, you know, I'm just. Like,
I didn't even catch the Leia thing.
The first episode that she's in, when they first meet her, and what is it, episode 2 or 3 of season 2?
Yeah.
She walks right up to Tech and she goes, "Look at you, cutie," or something like that. Like, I swear to God, I was like, this episode made me think maybe she actually has a thing for this dude.
I didn't think it at first, but now that you've said that, yeah, you know, I kind of see it. Yeah. I think she definitely has a crush on him. I don't know if
yeah. I think that's cool. I like that. It's like kind of the way that, I don't know if you remember in season 1 when Fennec was trying to get Omega.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a back and forth banter between her and Hunter at one point.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering if, which I don't know if we're gonna get a Book of Boba Fett season 2. Listen, I don't know if we are. I don't even know if I want that, unless it's gonna be like, hey, Cobb Vanth, I'm going to give you Tatooine for a while. I'm going to go kick some ass. I'm going to go kill Prince Zizor or something like that. Give me that. But I would like to see, or maybe Book of Boba Fett 2 is about him finding Omega or something. I don't know.
I do want to bring up Cobb Vanth, but when we get to the Mando talk, because dude, I have a theory. But yeah, so
if I just thought that, I wonder if we'll see Fennec mention, I worked with clones before, or yeah, I fought somebody I fought one of your brothers before after the war, or something like that. Like, or be even more interesting, because remember, Fennec was actually trying to help Omega. Remember, she was trying to bring her back to Nala Se. She didn't want her to get captured by the Empire.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because Dane was the one who was going to capture her and bring her to the Prime Minister.
That was a wild episode.
That was a great episode, especially when you see the Kaminoan clones in the tubes and they fall out. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, man.
But that reminded me of Jurassic Park 3 with the raptors in the tubes. But I thought that'd be really interesting if we do get to see Omega in live action, which I think we will eventually. And if she does meet up with Boba, because Boba might not even tell Fennec her name. Boba might just be like, "Oh, we're going to get my sister," whatever. Fennec rolls up. She's like, "I tried to capture you one time. I saved your life." That would be a cool little conversation there.
So
I was really hoping that Luke would show up at the end of Book of Boba Fett, so he could be like, "What's up, Boba?"
Well, I mean, I'm sure Luke will be back though.
Oh, dude, they're gonna wait. I don't think we're gonna get Luke in this season.
No.
I don't think so.
I think an over saturation of him would kind of make it feel like it's not so it wouldn't feel so grand.
Vader. It's the same thing with Vader. You don't put Vader in everything unless it's literally a Darth Vader show. You don't put Vader in everything. Because then he loses his gravitas of holy crap, it's Vader.
I know we're talking about the Bad Batch, but Vader didn't need to be in the Obi-Wan show. That kind of I get why he was there.
They could have done it, but they didn't have to meet. We can talk about that when we do our thing at the end of the episode, at the end of the show.
Oh yeah.
But, all right. Before we move on from the episode of Bad Batch, which again I really did like it. I just don't think it fit in the second half of the season. What would you rate it out of 10?
Well, okay, so controversial here because I like it as a fan, and I think it's a good episode. I like, a lot of the visuals. I do like a lot of the character growth. But like that high that I got from after the Crosshair thing, I gotta give this episode a 7.
Yeah, dude. Now I'm like chasing the dragon.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like how it's like you left me with like what was going on with Crosshair, and then now you put me back into the real world again. It's like,
well, here's the thing. When it comes to that, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
they could have done something different with this episode though. It could have pushed the story a little bit more, because they pushed the character development really well in this episode, in my opinion. And same thing with last episode, with the Crosshair episode. And here's the other thing. If you notice, every season, every third episode is a Crosshair episode. Like every third or fourth episode, it would be like 2 Bad Batch, 1 Crosshair, 3 Bad Batch, 1 Crosshair, 2 Bad Batch, 1 Crosshair. That's how they did it in the last season. That's probably how they're doing it in this one. But so I think that's another reason they put it on that the week before last. I just don't think it fit there again. But overall, yeah, pretty good episode. I'd have to probably also give it a 7.
So
but they could have ended it with like some sort of something bigger, like not even show us, like, yeah, end it the same way it ended, right? But then give us a little Empire scene afterwards.
Yeah,
just a little Empire scene right afterwards. That's gonna help that's gonna make people go, oh, like give us somebody talking to somebody else that we don't know who they're talking to. Give us that guy Hemlock. Guy Hemlock who has Nala say. Yeah. Give us something with Hemlock just being like, go get her.
Because now we kind of
something. Like literally give him a Delta, like have him talking to Delta Squad and have Delta Squad be like on the hunt for the Bad Batch now, and everybody would go, oh, and everyone would be like, all right, this episode wasn't mid. You know what I mean? Like they only needed that one scene at the end of the episode of something crazy that
I do
Bad
think.
Hey, I'm muting. I'll be back.
Okay. So I just do gotta say though, guys, I feel like if this episode was like at the start of the season, like if it was like episode 3 or 4 or 5, I feel like I would have given it an 8.
German Shepherd Husky mix is in the house.
That
was my dog, everybody. She says hi.
She is a wonderful dog, guys.
She's in the butt though, and she sees. I don't even know what she saw. Just her radar ears. She probably heard something.
But so, like, as I was saying, while you were gone, I actually do have a little bit of like a different take here, because if this episode had came out in like episodes 3, 4, or 5, I would have given it like an 8. But
yeah, but you gotta do this. You gotta do the Sid stuff first.
Yeah, true.
It's gotta be. They would have had to have the Zilla Beast episode before that.
True, but like I'm just saying, if this was a beginning of the season type of thing, I would give it an 8. But I think a 7 is fine for it, though.
I think a 7's fitting for it. I wouldn't quite give it a 6 or a 5. I know there's a lot of people out there that are literally like, it's a 3.
It's not that bad.
There's some people that are out there, I guarantee you, that are like, it's a 0, it's a 1. There's definitely somebody out there who just absolutely hated the episode. I mean,
which is an okay view to have, though. Like it's
totally fine if you don't like it. I was on Discord the other night debating it with a couple buddies. Shout out to Kings, but I was like, I actually kind of liked it. And Kings goes, "You're out of your mind." And I was like, "No, dude, I liked it." He's like, "I don't think it was." And we got to talking about it. He was messing with me, of course. But yeah, he gave it like a 5 or 6. He didn't like it that much.
I respect that.
I respect it though. Like, his reasoning was good. It's basically the same reasons that we all brought up just now. But
after the crosshair thing, yeah,
exactly. That's like what a lot of people are saying. They're like, "Come on, dude! After the crosshair episode, you're giving us that."
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll give it a 7. Maybe like a. We're gonna get real technical. Maybe like a 6.8.
It's not that bad of an episode.
Not even quite a 7 for me, but I'll give it a 7. Solid 7. That's fine.
And I just see the thing is, what happened is now it kind of killed the momentum now. So like,
it absolutely did.
So like now they have to like get that back now. So,
and here's the other thing: some people, which I disagree with this, and I guess this is a good segue into Mando chapter 19. To some people, they thought that episode wasn't the best.
So, I thought it was pretty good, actually.
I really liked it, and we'll get into why I really liked it. And I actually gave it like an 8, like an 8.5. I really liked it. But
I said a 7.5, but like that's also high.
I gave it an 8 at the end, but
yeah.
So for multiple reasons, actually maybe a 7.5. But imagine you thought Bad Batch was mid, and you thought this episode of Mando was like mid. You'd be pretty annoyed with this week of Star Wars, and I don't blame you for that. Anybody who did think they both were, I don't blame you. Because there's been some people already that are like, all right, Mando, pick it up. Like last episode, like episode 2 was pretty solid at the end. But then I guess this is a great way to start talking about Mando. The beginning, when they come out of the water after seeing the mythosaur in chapter 18. Why do you think that Bo didn't tell him? She said, "Do you see anything down there?" He goes, "Nothing." She said, "Do you see anything alive?" He goes, "No." And she's like, "Oh, okay."
You think? Well, I want to say the modest answer that she didn't want him to go in there and possibly get hurt, but I think maybe she's trying to conceal it from him because she wants to take it out herself.
She's definitely concealing it from him for a couple of reasons, in my opinion. First of all, we need to remember Bo-Katan's character from Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
She was not a good person. She's not a good person.
No.
In general. She wasn't. In Clone Wars, up until when Maul killed Vizsla.
Yep.
Killed Vizsla. Which, come on, dude. Paz Vizsla has to be his kid or something. Like that big ass Mando with the chain gun, his name is Paz Vizsla. Then we have pre-Vizsla in Clone Wars, and they're both played by Jon Favreau. So, like, come on. So, he's definitely his son or grandson or something.
Definitely his grandson, yeah.
I would say son. Because Din Djarin grew up during the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's
I would
true.
say son. Or nephew or something. Somehow he's very related to pre-Vizsla. Could even be a really younger brother who was a child when his oldest brother was killed or something. Who knows? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going with the father or uncle route, though. And we have to remember, Bo-Katan is not good. She only became an ally of the Jedi because of Kenobi, because Kenobi loved her sister Satine, and he wanted to destroy Maul. Ahsoka wanted to eradicate Maul. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't think Bo-Katan would have wanted to help them if Mandalore wasn't taken over by the Sith Lord.
So there's a third sister. There's a third sister, right?
No.
Satine, Bo-Katan, and then I could have sworn that in like Clone Wars they mentioned that they had like a third sister.
I don't believe so.
Well,
no, because Obi-Wan, this is when you find out when Bo-Katan comes to free Obi-Wan. When he's captured by Maul, and she comes to free Obi-Wan with all the Night Owls
Right,
She helps
yeah.
Obi-Wan escape. And then
Yeah.
as Obi-Wan's escaping, he's like, "You're Satine's sister, aren't you?" And she just looks
Right,
at
yeah.
him like, "I'm so sorry." And then the ship just like pulls away. Dude, that shit hit me. Like, I
I'm
was like,
sorry. That was I,
damn. Because
I
it's the
kind of put
same
us
line.
onto a
It's the same
sidetrack.
line from Revenge of the Sith, dude, where Obi-Wan's like, Anakin is the father, isn't he?
I'm so
And Padme
sorry.
just looks down and goes, "I'm so sorry," and just puts the hood up. Dude, that is that's the same exact like scene, but like done differently. And
Um,
you have to remember after that, there is no third sister. You might be thinking of you got me confused there. I thought you were talking about freaking Reva for a second, dude.
nah, I'm sorry.
But Reva.
We'll get to her in a little bit, guys.
Yeah,
Not to give
yeah.
anything away, but
Um, but yeah, so Bo is always kind of an anti-hero, kind of like Boba Fett.
yeah, I don't see her as a
She
villain.
will do immoral things. I mean, she burned a whole entire innocent village down in Clone Wars under previous orders.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it. She tried to kill Ahsoka before she ended up having to work with Ahsoka in season 7.
Yep.
So it's like there's multiple things going on here, and she's deceptive. And I have a feeling that the Mythosaur supersedes the Darksaber. The Mythosaur is their ancient mythical creature that they
Mm-hmm.
believe to be extinct. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like a god to the Mandalorians. And if you're able to tame one or kill one, that will definitely supersede the Darksaber. So I don't think she gives a shit about the Darksaber anymore. Sure, if she got it, she'd be like, awesome, I have it. But I really don't think she cares about it anymore.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think that's why she didn't tell Mando about the Mythosaur, because then she's worried Mando's gonna go down there. He's gonna try and kill the Mythosaur, or he's gonna end up riding the Mythosaur, and then I'm fucked because he's got the Darksaber and the Mythosaur.
I found it
I have no
weird.
right to my throne,
I
and I
found
think
it.
that's why she didn't tell him.
I found it weird that she
She could have killed him when she got the Darksaber in episode 2. She could have just.
They're probably building to it, but like I found it weird that she like all of the sudden does not care about having the Darksaber now. It's like weird to me.
Definitely still in the back of her mind. She's definitely jealous.
Yeah, well, because
Mythosaur, she's like, that could be another way.
it was something that we said this like last week, but like the fact that like, you know, Mando moves so like heavily with it, and then she moves so smoothly, because it's kind of like she's like worthy of it.
She's already worthy of it.
Yeah, right. Whereas like Mando has to like earn that, but yeah. So I think Bo is like, you know, up to something, and bro, I wonder what's gonna happen.
You know what's even crazier? Maul instantly could wield it.
You think so?
Did it look heavy?
No.
Did it look heavy when Maul was fighting with it?
No. I never even thought. Wow. Yeah, it's right. Wow.
Sabine, though, it took Sabine a while in Rebels.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. In Rebels, you don't see that side of Bo because she's trying to unite all the Mandalorian clans. Clan Ren, Clan Vizsla, like all of them. Clan Cast, Clan Saxon. Well, Saxons were working for, they were the Empire's Mandalorians, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Saxon got killed by Sabine, I believe.
Yeah.
Did she end up killing him?
I think so.
Did she let him live? I don't remember.
I haven't.
She kicked his ass with Ezra's lightsaber, though. Remember that?
But something that I do like though about this Mando episode is that it was a long episode. It was.
So here's something I want to say about that before we get into the real meat and potatoes of this episode. Yeah, so we've already established Bo's deceptive. She's got other plans. So before we get into the real meat and potatoes of this episode, like I said, which I believe is the Pershing stuff, you get that Mando in the beginning. You get Mando in the end, so he bookends the Pershing stuff. And I have a feeling that those two bookends of this episode were supposed to literally just be the end of episode 2. Or
you think so?
Yeah, it picks up right where chapter 18 cuts off.
Yeah, it does.
You get that little man. You get the Mando for like the first 10 minutes, and then you get the Pershing stuff, and then in the last 10 minutes you get Mando again. That could have been the ending 20 minutes of episode 18 or chapter 18. But what I'm thinking here is they took feedback from the Book of Boba Fett, where people were like, you have 2 episodes that Boba Fett's not even in. So that Pershing stuff could have been one full 35-minute episode, but they didn't want to do that because they knew that people would be like, wow, another episode where the main character's not even in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they did that.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know about you. It felt
I wouldn't have cared, dude. I literally wouldn't have cared if that was a whole Pershing episode. Wouldn't have given a shit. If you took both the Mando parts and put them at the end of episode 18, I don't want to say I'd really care that much. I'd be like, oh crap, like Mando wasn't in it, but that was really interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
because the Pershing stuff,
it's all set up for the future.
The Pershing stuff on its own was like, you know, interesting. So
before we get into Pershing stuff, though, we have to talk about what happens when they leave Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Bo leaves Mandalore with Din, and Din's in his N1 Starfighter, that beauty. And it
is a beautiful ship. Yeah.
That's like the Lamborghini of Star Wars, dude.
I love the Razor Crest, but man,
I love the Razor Crest. The N1 is
yeah,
sexy, man. That thing is sexy. The way it purrs every time he turns it on. Mm-hmm. But that's a nice ass fucking shit, dude. But yeah. So Bo leaves with the droid and Grogu in her ship. And Mando's in the N1, and they go back to Kalevala, where Bo's castle is, and they get intercepted by TIE interceptors that just start firing on them. Right?
Yep.
They start getting attacked by all these TIE interceptors and stuff. And then they have that cool little fly-through chase scene type thing.
The one that was in the trailer.
Yeah, they're taking out some of them. And which it was cool to see TIE interceptors again. And then her base, her castle gets bombed by TIE bombers. She freaks out. She takes out all the TIE bombers. And you get like 20 interceptors just fly in from the clouds and start. Mando's like, we got to get the hell out of here. So they book it, right? And you see, which was cool. You see all the TIEs do that thing where they all just like turn off the different directions in formation. When like,
I don't know about you, I love the sound that, like, you know, all of the TIE fighters make. That
yeah. Dude, it's sick. It's sick. But here's the thing: where were they coming from?
Yeah, wait, where
it wasn't Gideon? Where was the Star Destroyer? They don't have hyperdrives. They don't have hyperdrives, so there's a Star Destroyer somewhere.
Okay,
could it be? Who knows Bo-Katan? Thrawn knows Bo-Katan.
You think it's Thrawn?
I think that's a big possibility, unless Gideon escaped somehow from his war tribunal, and we don't know that yet.
Do you think we'll get
someone who has an axe to grind against Bo-Katan? Thrawn would be one of those people.
Yeah, true. Oh.
They didn't tell us. They didn't show a Star Destroyer. And if the rumors are true, we're going to see the Chimera, which is Thrawn's Star Destroyer with the giant, like, Dr. Dragon painted on it.
Do you think that we'll get Thrawn, though, in the season?
I think that might be the end. I think it could be like I think it could be the ending of season 3. You just see him from behind and you hear the Thrawn music from Rebels, dude. I love the Thrawn theme. Where it's like slight vocals, but it's like dun And you can tell he's like thinking, dude. If I
That'll
heard
be the
that,
loot scene.
all you need to do is just show somebody like this from behind with a ton of artifacts surrounding them in their office.
Mm-hmm.
And just hear his voice.
Yup.
That's it. That's all you need.
Thrawn in live action is gonna go hard, bro.
It's coming, dude. It's coming. Now that is gonna be quite possibly even bigger to some people than the Kenobi show. If they don't get Thrawn right, that could be the end of Star Wars. Like literally.
Well, because Thrawn has a lot of dedicated fans.
EU fans, original fans, like Rebels fans, new fans, fans of the new Thrawn books who didn't even read Heir of the Empire. If you don't get Thrawn right, dude, you could piss off an entire fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
They have to get Thrawn right. Yeah.
They have to. Yeah. That's going to be the killer. That's literally going to be the killer. I thought Kenobi was the killer for a lot of people. Some people watch Kenobi, they're like, I'm not coming back. I don't even care about Mando. Screw Baby Yoda.
And I don't blame them. Yeah.
I don't blame them either. And some people, that's just how it is. Other people, it's Thrawn. And for me, I'm always gonna watch Star Wars because I'm always gonna love aspects of Star Wars no matter what. But if they don't get Thrawn right, dude, it could be like The Last Jedi, but worse.
Oh.
It could be like The Last Jedi, but worse. Like The Last Jedi 2, Electric Boogaloo. Like it's gonna be an even bigger fight in the fandom than like what happened to Luke. Because everybody agrees on what Thrawn should be.
Just copy and paste him from Rebels, but just give him some more character growth.
Look, take him from Zahn's books.
Yeah.
Take him from Timothy Zahn's the new books. You can get aspects of Heir of the Empire, which I think we're gonna get. But the Heir of the Empire Thrawn is quite different than the new canon Thrawn. He's still just as ruthless, but he's less caring.
Mm-hmm.
New Thrawn is caring. He actually cares about people in a way. He cares about the galaxy. Old Thrawn was like, power. Give me power. I'm the Emperor now. Like, that was old Grand Admiral Thrawn. New Grand Admiral Thrawn's like, I still want to protect the galaxy. I never liked Palpatine. I never really liked the Empire. They were just a means to an end to protect this place, basically. Which I like a little bit more, personally.
Yeah, same.
Because it makes Thrawn not fully evil. He never was.
He does
some dastardly deeds, but he's never truly evil. Like, he does bombard a city in Rebels, but he's never really, like, evil.
I don't know, though. I love Thrawn in that show. Like Thrawn's awesome in that show.
He's awesome in that show.
Yeah. Which is what made me love him as a character. So,
bro, he kills the Bendu. He just pops the Bendu right in the head.
Right.
The Bendu's like, I see your demise. And Thrawn's like, what do you see? And he's like 1,000 arms gripping you in a cold embrace.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thrawn's like, bang. He's like, thanks for telling me. Pop.
But they have to get Thrawn right because I think for the people that watched Rebels or who read the books, a lot of people.
Is that loud as hell?
What?
You hear that? It's a cement mixer outside. Sorry to anybody if the audio just went it blew your eardrums out. But yeah, anyway. So we get that. All those scenes. And who else do you think it could be? It could be some new Imperial we don't know about. It could be another warlord. Or it could be somebody associated with Thrawn.
Well, I think it could be, but I also do
I'm not saying it is Thrawn. It could be one of his lackeys. It could be Admiral Pelion.
It could be.
Who was Thrawn's right-hand man, which I really want to see Pelion.
Or it could be Gideon, too. It could be Gideon.
It could be Gideon. It could be one of Gideon's people. But, how would he give orders?
Right, yeah.
If he's at a war tribunal, how would he be like, yo, go to Bo-Katan Kryze's castle and blow it up? blow it to hell and kill her if she's there. Like, I don't know how he would be able to give that if he hasn't escaped. But I'll get to that. I'll get to that. We know Gideon's in the season. Giancarlo Esposito was at the red carpet and at all the press stuff and everything, and he's been tweeting about Mando.
One thing, we'll save more of it for Wednesday, but it's no longer the red carpet. It's actually the golden carpet now. It's not the red carpet anymore.
Why? Is the red carpet somehow offensive to somebody?
I don't know. But
I bet you it's somebody. I'll guarantee it'll be like, just like when we were in high school, and that one lady who was like 2% Native American wanted to get the name changed of our school thing. So I'm not going to dox our school, but yeah, it's probably that. It's probably some really loud person on the internet is like, that's anti-Native American because it's red. Probably some bullshit like that.
But
I wouldn't be surprised. Or it's something stupid, like where they just wanted to change it. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll find the article and then we
talk about that later, though.
Yeah. So I guess let me just ask you, because me personally, while I don't care about him that much, I found the Pershing stuff to be interesting. It's just that I don't really care about him as a character.
Oh, I just actually just figured something out. So it could easily be Thrawn's right-hand man, Admiral Pelion, because Pelion is not in Rebels. I thought he was, but he's not. So I thought Pelion died, and I thought they brought him into Rebels and he died, but he's not. So it could easily be Pelion.
Yeah.
But it's got to be some Imperial. And yeah, I actually really like Pershing. I like his character. I wouldn't like.
He's not my favorite, but he's not bad.
No. He's not even close to my favorite, but I find him very interesting.
Yeah.
Like we see in season 1, he genuinely cares about the baby.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no. I was trying to help him. I'm trying to help him. Like stuff like that. And you see in season 2, he quite literally does help them.
Yeah.
And they capture him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but remember when they boarded the Lambda class shuttle in like the last or third to last episode of season 2?
Yeah.
Or second to last episode of season 2. And they capture Pershing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one Imperial pilot's like, he like turns around and grabs him and goes, I was on the Death Star. Your people killed thousands. Or stuff like that. He's like about to kill Pershing, and then Cara Dune shoots him. She blows part of his ear off. Part of Pershing's ear off. And you see that in this episode. You can see he keeps touching. Wait, it's this one. He keeps touching that ear. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you look, his ear is like all mangled. And I think it might have been Star Wars Theory who brought this up. I think it was. That's his lying tick. Every time he's lying, he touches his ear.
Ah.
You can see it multiple times in the episode when we know as the audience that he's telling a blatant lie.
You mean like that's his tell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting. As we get through this episode, we'll talk about that. But I thought it was super freaking cool to see the opera.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing the opera again, but I love that it was more of like a TED Talk.
Yeah, kind of.
Like it wasn't. It was like it gave me like Bill Gates vibes, or like Elon Musk vibes, or something like.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Or who started Apple? What's his name?
Steve Jobs.
It's literally Steve Jobs, bro. He's literally like doing a Steve Jobs TED Talk, like to Coruscant.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty interesting, and everything that he was saying about his research and whatnot is pretty cool. And then the fact that he comes out And all these delegates and senators and everybody are talking to him, and they're like, wow, that was really interesting, like super cool. Like, yeah, maybe we would want to fund your work and everything. And then, we see him, doesn't he? What, he goes home, and that's when he meets the other Imperials.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, come have a drink, Doc. And he's like, like, you can tell he's a very anxious and shy person, but then he's like, screw it, I could use some friends. And can you blame him? He's been getting whacked around by Moff Gideon for like God knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be a little bit weirded out. I'd be probably walking around looking all over the place, anxious as fuck too. Not gonna lie. And I thought it was cool that they're drinking little like beakers, little shots in like beakers. And
they basically drink out of like a shot glass. Yeah.
Then he sees Elia when he sits down.
Mm-hmm.
The girl from Gideon's ship.
Mm-hmm.
What did you first think when she looked up at him?
I don't know. I mean,
what was going through her head? Was she being genuine or not? When you first saw it,
I don't trust her, man. I don't trust her.
When you first saw it, your first inkling was don't trust her.
Yep.
Same with me. But I also thought maybe she was gonna be like take him aside afterwards and be like Gideon's escaped, bro. Like, we got this. Like, we're gonna get out of here too. Like, I could have seen that. But I love that little scene where they're like all talking about what they missed in the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did you guys miss from the Empire? The uniforms fit better. I miss hyperspace. And I know that something else. They all talk about where they're from.
I know that the Empire were like bad, but it was kind of wholesome to see them talking about it.
Bad, though.
Yeah.
Because just think of it this way. For 20-something years, 30 years, no, 20-something years, you grow up, you're a kid, you don't understand the transition between the Empire and the Republic.
Yeah.
You're a kid growing up, right? And you're like, I want to join the military. Same like any of us, if we wanted to. I want to join the military.
Mm-hmm.
You're not out there thinking the military's evil, the military's bad. You're like, the military protects us. I want to protect people too. Little do you know, it's run by a Sith Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And governed by a lot of POSs.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're thinking, join the Empire, fight today, like some Uncle Sam stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
In reality, you're like, oh, these insurgents, these rebels, they're evil, which is like very similar to like not saying that these people weren't in real life, but much like resistance groups. Like, we're sitting here in America, right? We're like, screw the Viet Cong back in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or, screw ISIS, if I can even say that. That's a point in Star Wars. I can say that, YouTube. So it's like, yeah, F them. But on their side, they're like, F the big guys.
Yeah.
Now, I hate, like, they're evil in real life. These resistance groups are evil. But what I'm saying is, we've always seen Star Wars from the side of the rebels.
Yep.
George Lucas quite frankly based the rebellion on the Viet Cong.
Yep.
So we're seeing it from the side of Viet Cong fighting against the evil empire. So these dudes don't know that they don't think of themselves as evil. They're like, we just joined the military, bro. We just do what we're told.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's that simple. So to them, some of them probably never even saw combat, dude. Some of those people sitting at that table probably never even saw combat. They probably did their tours. They could have been on a freighter, an Imperial freighter ship.
They probably thought the Palpatine was like a kindly old man, too.
Everybody thought that. Because he would wear that facade. He would use Sith alchemy to like look like this nice old man to everybody.
Yeah.
Nah. No,
Nope.
he had the whole entire galaxy fooled. Ezra literally says it in Rebels. He's like, the Emperor, he can't, like, he's a nice old man. Like, what do you mean? Because Ezra assumed that he was just a figurehead.
Yeah.
He literally referred to Palpatine as the galaxy's grandfather because everyone found him as a kindly old man who cared about everybody.
Yep.
But that was just propaganda, of course.
But I think I didn't trust her when I saw her, though. I won't even lie.
My first inkling was don't trust her, and then at the episode, I'm like, no. Because we get all that really interesting Pershing stuff. Then she takes him out for a night on the town, which I thought was cool because we get to see a lot of really cool places.
Yep.
Oh, and something else. When he's first going back, before he has the drinks with all of them, he got that droid driving him there. He's flying through Coruscant. And the droid mentions, oh, you should check out the gardens, the hanging gardens or whatever. It's actually a cool little reference to, I think it's Hard Contact. It's a Republic Commando book. And this is one where this Trandoshan terrorist is like trying to blow up this bomb or release a bioweapon or something on Coruscant, and they like have to fight him in the gardens. To hunt him down in the floating gardens and kill him. Pretty sure that's the one. But yeah, to me, like, just seeing all these parts of Coruscant I haven't seen since Revenge of the Sith or Clone Wars
was cool to see, yeah.
And when he's having that and mentioning the mountain, they mentioned that mountain in the books. So I thought it was pretty damn cool that they mentioned the mountain and we got to see it, the highest peak on Coruscant. And then you have
I'm just glad the Coruscant's getting shown love because it's my favorite planet throughout
it's one of my favorite planets. I'm not even a big city guy, but that's one of my favorite planets. I think it's so cool. And
it's been shown in Bad Batch, now it's being shown in Mando. So like I think it's cool that it's getting shown love because
and it was in Andor.
Yeah. Because we were stuck in desert planets for like, the longest time. So like,
dude, where's Felucia?
Yeah.
Give me Felucia or Kashyyyk.
Right. Like, yeah.
Now we got to see Kashyyyk in Bad Batch, but like, give me live action, like a cool ass planet. Like, this is Star Wars. Not every planet in Star Wars is desert.
Yeah.
Or lava fields or like a city. Like, there's so much more. Has Mando's been to what, one forest planet?
I think so.
2 forest planets? Like,
I've
give me more.
Nah, I think it was 2.
Takodana, I'm not talking that. Give me a planet that looks like freaking Pandora.
Yo.
Massive trees or massive mushrooms or something crazy. Like,
I still can't.
I have missed Felucia, bro. I want to see Felucia. I love that planet. Give me a reason to go back to Felucia. I don't want to go back to Jakku. Why does everybody always want to go back to Jakku?
I mean, like, the concept of the planet itself, the concept of it's cool, but it's just basically a knockoff version of, Tatooine is what it is.
Yeah, and then we do it's right now, it's like desert planet or snow planet. Even Mandalore is a desert.
Yep.
Or space. It's space, it's a ship, it's like we've gotten like 2 planets like that.
But so you're in the same boat as me, though. You didn't mind the lack of Mando in this episode.
I liked how kind of it was slow. It was giving Pershing more development. It was opening him up more as a character. And then, you have him like, oh, that place where they got their little ice creams when they're walking or whatever they were. That was the same place that when Satine, and I believe it's season 2 of Clone Wars, is being hunted by the Mandalorian assassin, the Death Watch assassin. That's where she meets Obi-Wan in that carnival.
Ah!
She hood up and she's sitting there. And Obi-Wan just sits on the bench behind her and like talks to her. And she passes him like the data.
That is in season 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same exact place.
Yeah.
And then I thought that was cool. We get to see a couple other places, but then we get Pershing at work, and you can tell he's being extremely underutilized for how smart he is and like how helpful he could be. And they keep telling him like, just delete this data, just delete this data, just delete this data. And he's like, but this is all helpful data. This could help you guys. This could help the New Republic. And they're like, it's Imperial, delete it. And he's like, what? Why? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And he's right, it doesn't. And then afterwards, he's got to go talk to that droid where it's just like monotone. Like, do you feel this way? Do you feel that way? Are you harboring anything against the New Republic? And he's like, there again, no. He leaves. Same day goes by, whatever. I'm pretty sure he talks to the girl again when he gets home from work or something. And he goes to work again, talks to that droid again, and he goes, again, says no, ear tick. And he goes, okay. Well, I'm supposed to help the New Republic in any way possible, right? If it's for the betterment of the people. The droid goes, yeah. And he takes that as, all right, I'm doing it then. I'm going to go get my cloning technology. I'm going to figure this out. So he goes goes back, talks to Eli. He's like, let's do it. I need to get this stuff. And she's like, all right, I can help you get there. We're going to go do this. Meet me outside at this time, whatever. He gets dressed. She gets changed. They sneak out. They're walking. He's tweaking. He's like it's like a kid sneaking out from their parents' house when they know they're going to get caught. He's tweaking.
Yeah.
And they end up on the train. No tickets. And you get that little sequence of them just like booking it through the train from car to car. Before the train sees them. And you can tell she's already got the spot set up. She goes, all right, we're going to jump here. And she grabs them and they jump. And they land on like mattresses, basically. Right? So I just skipped like a whole 7 or 8 minute scene because that was like way too long. And then they end up at the Imperial or the New Republic shipyards where they're taking apart decommissioned Star Destroyers. And that's the same shipyards that we just saw in Bad Batch. The episode that Rampart gets capped. That was episode 8. Yeah, it was like episode 8 of season 2. And we got him in there. He's tweaking the whole time. They're trying to find shit. She's like, all right, I'll watch the door. You get everything you need. And then they hear something and they hear like footsteps or whatever. And she's like, all right, time to go, right? Keep in mind, this whole entire time she's gained, like, she already knew him before when they were on the ship together. She gained his trust. Oh, here's the other thing. Going all the way back to when he first meets up with her again and they're all sitting at the table having drinks. He mentions, I knew you on Gideon's ship. And all the other Imperials look over like, what did you just say? And they're like, I heard he's on his way to a max security prison. The other guy's like, I heard he was at the War Tribunal still or en route. The other guy's like, I heard he escaped.
Which one do you think is the truth?
That's the question because they mentioned that, but that's who else's Star Destroyer could have been there at Bo-Katan's castle in Kalevala.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm like, it could have been him. It could have been Thrawn. It could have been one of his lackeys. It could have been one of Gideon's lackeys.
Or it could be a totally new character.
I don't think Gideon is, but he quite literally could be working under Thrawn. I think they have 2 different objectives.
Yeah.
I don't think they're connected. However, I think if Thrawn rolled up, he'd be big dog, without a doubt. Gideon would be like a little minnow compared to this megalodon that just showed up.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
So that's the one thing that makes me think it could have been Gideon because he's the other person that would be like, okay, yeah, nuker. Like, so we get that scene, right? And they're all like Alaya, who has now gained Pershing's trust a lot. He thinks he has a really good friend now and everything. She runs outside with him with all of his equipment that he needs. And boom, spotlight surrounding him, much like Ahsoka in season 5's finale. I believe 4? 5?
It was the 5. End of season 4.
Was it?
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it might have been 5.
Anyway,
maybe you're right. Maybe it was 4. It's 4 or 5. Either way,
I did like that callback though. Yeah.
Same thing. And New Republic police officers show up, and they're all like, "Oh fuck!" Mm-hmm. And Pershing drops the stuff, and they're being real assholes. Like they're being really, really big assholes. Like almost exactly like Imperials would be. And Elias steps forward, and Pershing's like, "What the what?" And she turns around and picks up the box and then backs up. Like she's with him. She set him up. And he's like, no. You don't get it. She told me. And then he gets arrested.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what the hell? I trusted you, basically. Now, that's another really interesting thing. How many sides is she playing?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, whose side is she, like, really on, though? It's like...
Yeah.
Like, is she really on Gideon's side? Or is she just in there so that, like, do you think she wants his place? Do you think that's what she's after?
I don't know. But what I do know is after that, this is going to tie into the Bad Batch. After that, we get the Mind Flare. And no, I'm not talking about Stranger Things. I'm talking about this thing that was mentioned all the way back in season 1 of Mando when Gideon first showed up. Cara Dune's like, screw that, I'm not getting captured. They'll hook me up to a Mind Flare.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard about Mind Flares in the EU and whatnot. Basically what a Mind Flare does. And we saw one, kind of a version of one, in the first season of Bad Batch. In the very first season of Bad Batch, when they're still in Camino...
Right.
Everyone's Barkin enhances Crosshair's brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's a version of a Mind Flare.
Mm.
And we go to this episode of Mando, and next thing we know, Pershing's in this room, and there's like doctors around, one of which is a Mon Cala, just like Admiral Akbar, to which Pershing literally looks at him and goes, "I was set up. It's a trap." Real subtle.
They knew what they were doing.
Saying that to a Mon Cala, real subtle, Star Wars. But they hook him up to a Mind Flare, and he's like, no, like, no, fuck this. And the Mon Cala dude's like, don't worry, it's just to help you. It's therapy. It's gonna make things easier. Which, even still, he's like, no, I don't want this. Like, get it away. Get away from me. Like, I would have found a way to just be like, like, like you're not touching my head, bro. and she's watching. Elia's watching from the like a one-way mirror and a one-way glass, and she's in there with another officer, and they're talking, and we see it start to work on, like they start to turn it on Pershing. And it's little pink, like little tiny little like string-sized lasers, right? Like of electricity. And you see him start to like fall asleep or like pass out or whatever. And they're like, all right, let's go. Like we'll leave him for a little bit. Keep in mind, it's set on like 1 or 2 when you see it on the panel. And Eli's like, well, you know, he's my friend. Do you mind if I just stay with him for a little bit longer? And the guy's like, that's fine. She turns that shit up to 100%, which will literally like fry his brain. Unless they change the way Mind Flayers work, he's brain dead. Like Pershing's out. or she either completely wiped his mind, or she made him like brain dead. One or the other. He's out. And my question is, did she not want any of that technology or any of their cloning that they did with Gideon to fall into New Republic hands? Did she not want any of the information? What's the best way to get rid of all of their data and all of their information? Delete the guy who has it all in his head.
Mm-hmm.
So
who knows what she's really after, though?
I don't know what side she's working for. Like, because there's a possibility she might just be nuts. She might just be like, this really will help him. This really will. She could be thinking that in her mind, just going like sadistically high to make him forget everything.
Mm-hmm.
Or she actually, which is more likely, she's like a double agent, triple agent. I don't even know. She's got a hard on for Gideon. She wants to be in bed with him. Like, she's like obsessed with him. She's like one of his most loyal people. I have a feeling she's sitting there every night thinking about him. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. So we got some, and then the episode cuts there, and you're like, oh, shit. Which I thought it was really great. We actually got to see a mind flare. They talk about him all the time. This is a legit one. This isn't the same thing we saw in Bad Batch. But here's the other thing. New Republic are good guys, right?
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're not. They're just as corrupt as we're already getting to see that 5 to 6 years after Return of the Jedi, they're already as corrupt as the Empire. At least the Deep State is. Because that was like deep state shit. I doubt like whoever the Chancellor is now, whether it's Mon Mothma or somebody else, I doubt they know that's going on.
I like to think that it's Mon Mothma, yeah.
I think it is. I think it technically is at this point, because I know Leia stepped down, and Ben Solo would have been born by now, I believe. So I think Leia stepped down. Because everybody, I don't know if this is still canon. It might be, but
wasn't Leia the Chancellor?
Yeah, and everybody found out that Vader was her father. Somebody leaked it, so she stepped down.
Yeah.
Because then everybody found out that, she could have the Force too. Maybe what if she becomes worse, that all these conspiracy theories started going around, and then, yeah.
The Republic seems to be, I was
the very thing they swore to destroy?
Well, I was thinking when I was watching it, I was like, what did y'all fight a war for? Because, y'all are like just as bad. Like,
I mean, it's pretty damn peaceful, but the deep state's always going to be bad in some way, dude. Which is what we could get a real world conspiracy topic there, but if you think any government doesn't have shit like that going on, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like every government, whether it's fictional or not.
I mean,
there's shit like that going on.
I mean, sure, it's peaceful, but like the government's just as bad as the Empire was. So
I wouldn't say just as bad, but they're doing very Empire-like things.
Yeah.
Very, very Empire-like things. And I don't think. And they're treating the Imperials very similarly, Imperial soldiers, very similarly to how the Imperials would have treated rebel soldiers. Keep in mind, those rebel soldiers, when captured, would be in prisons, or they would be executed or used for work camps, like we saw in Andor. But at least the New Republic's not doing that. They're being more humane, but they're not giving them freedom. They're not free to go and live their lives.
Yeah, like they don't have civil rights. They don't have any rights.
Not really.
None.
It's like go to work, come home. Go to work, come home.
Right.
You get to go out. You get to go out, but you have a curfew.
Yeah, which, like, I get why they do it, but like it's not fair still. Like it's
because like we said earlier, not every Imperial's evil.
right.
Not every Imperial's bad.
I think that the story is pretty, interesting. All of the like, deep stuff within this episode is actually really good.
I actually like some people were arguing in a Discord I was in the other day about world building. Somebody was like, some dude did not like this episode at all because it had too much world building. The other guy loved it. And I butted in a little bit because I was like, they were arguing hard, bro. They were getting heated. And I was like, yo, you can't deny world building isn't important. It's absolutely important. And the one guy goes like, yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, world building is like extremely important. Like, this is a great episode. I'm like, nah, but wait. This guy's saying he likes to have stuff left to his imagination. I also agree with that.
Yeah.
He's not saying that world building isn't important. He's just saying it might have been a little too much of it, which I personally disagree with, but I can understand that point of leave stuff to the imagination. Now, I made an extreme point there where I was like, yeah, of course I want some stuff in Star Wars left to imagination. First thing that popped in my head was, don't tell me Yoda's species name and don't tell me where his planet is. Don't tell me anything about it. I don't want to know. I want that all left to my imagination. Yes, now that's an extreme point, but there's other things in Star Wars I want left up to my imagination. Like, what are Leia and Han doing right now? Don't tell me. I want to just imagine what they're doing. I don't need that right now. But when it comes to the political landscape of what's happening in Star Wars, that's a very vital part of Star Wars.
Very, yeah.
Some people say it's not, but it is.
It kind of...
And I think that seeing that in this episode was really freaking cool. Like I said, I like this episode.
Yeah.
A lot for that reason. Do I wish it pushed the story a little bit more, which I think it did. But
it's not as good as last week, though. But it's
not as good as last week. It did have a drop off on viewership this week.
Yeah,
that's true. This is the least viewed season of The Mandalorian so far, and I think Kenobi and Boba Fett are somewhat to blame for that. So a lot of people were just done after Kenobi.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't bad though. But I'm definitely
I like the episode.
There is a Mando episode next week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Being directed by Carl Weathers, actually.
Oh, yeah. Before we get off of the Mando talk, so I have a theory, right? So you know how in episode 1,
season 2
of season 3, he says that he says that he needs a sheriff. He asks Mando to be his sheriff. What if Cobb Vanth becomes Navarro's sheriff?
I could see that, but I don't think Cobb Vanth is leaving Tatooine. He cares too much about it. And the people there, the people of Freetown and stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
So I don't think Cobb is leaving Tatooine. But now he's gonna get a sheriff. Someone's gonna be his marshal at some point. Now they left it. We talked about this. They left it open for Gina Carano to somehow return if that ever happens. They didn't kill her character, so they left that open. Coupled with Gina's post that I showed last week, and I think it could be her. It could end up being IG-11 after he gets rebuilt, if he does. It could be a lot of different people when you think about it. But next week's episode is going to be the pirate episode. I'll bet money on it. Where the pirates show back up to Navarro, and you get the shot of all the Mandos showing up to kick their asses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get that shot of the Devastator class Star Destroyer that, what is it, Gorian Shard? Gorian Shard, the Davy Jones brute from Halo looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
You see his ship and you see Mando's ship like curve around it, but it's in atmosphere. So you know that they've come into the atmosphere above the city. So yeah, we're gonna get that fight. We're gonna get that battle, and we're probably gonna get that other shot from the trailer where it's Bo-Katan and Mando and all these other Mandos behind them walking over this desert rock with the sun behind them. So we got to talk about the end of the episode first, though.
Yeah.
So at the end of the episode, Mando and Bo go back to, it's called like Ankala or something. It's weird. Forget the name of the planet that right now we saw in episode 1 with the armor and the giant crocodile and shit in chapter 17.
Mm-hmm.
So they go back there, and Mando's like, it's better if you don't take your helmet off. Just trust me. She's like, all right, bet. So they get out, and instantly Paz Vizsla's standing there like, didn't I tell you not to come back here, bro? And he goes, nah, dude, I took a bath. He's like, I don't think you took a bath. And he's like, nah, I took a bath. He pulls up the water.
Pixel where it didn't happen.
And he's like, who's that? She's like, Bo-Katan. And she says, I saw him take the bath. She's like, yeah, I took the bath with him. And then they go back to see the armor, right? He's like, very well. Paz Vizsla lets them pass to go see the armor. All these other Mandos are standing around like, better have gotten that right water, bruv. Better gotten that good. And yeah, I want that real Fiji shit. And he somebody needs to do that. Somebody needs to make a bottled water company called Healing Waters.
Dude, that would sell for like hella money.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Disney. Make Healing Waters water. Sell it at your parks. But
they're too cheap to
I'm not going to your park, but I'll get it from somebody. So I'll go to your park when you give me Darth Vader walking around.
Or just do like the Star Wars world that we like talked about a couple months back.
Yes, do that with all the money that you don't have. Do that with the 1.2 billion that you lost last year. Anyway, so they come in. The armor is like, better have that bath water. Better be from that Belle Delphine chick. And he's like, yeah, I got it. Got her bath water. Streamer girl bath water. And she's like, all right, bet. We're pouring this shit in the pensieve. Like from Harry Potter, right? It looks just like the pensieve, right? They pour it in there. It does the same exact thing from Harry Potter. Don't tell me it's not a pensieve. I thought he was going to shove his face in there and see Voldemort's backstory for a second. So
I love that.
She pours it in there. She goes, that's some damn good bathwater. And he's like, hell yeah, it is. And she's like, all right, yo, you're a Mando again. And Bo-Katan's like staring at the wall. She's like, Mythosaur skull. Mythosaur skull. Mythosaur skull. And she's like, oh, what? And they're like, yeah, you took a bath too, right? She's like, yeah, I did. Like, oh, well, then you're part of the clan too. And she's like, huh? They're like, yeah, don't remove your helmet. She's like, okay. Like, she's not gonna care, bro. As soon as she's not hanging out with them anymore, she'll take that helmet off and talk to Jim.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So, yeah. All right, cool. Like, I'm part of you guys now, right? And the episode ends with all of them like hugging each other and being like, welcome, sister, and all this other stuff. And then, like, boom. So now that perfectly leads us into the next episode, which Grief Karga is going to contact Mando and be like, yo, pirates are back. It's really bad, bro. They're all attacking us. I need at least you. And Mando's going to go, yo, boys, Darksaber, let's go kick some ass. And everyone's going to be like, woohoo, we riding. And then the Mandos are going to go
be dope.
Ass, dude. They're going to go and mess the pirates up. You're going to see Paz Vizsla with the and dude, it's going to be sick. Next episode's going to be dope.
It's going to be awesome.
And then after next episode, we'll have seen everything from the trailer.
Well,
we'll have seen almost. Except for that one scene, Order 66. Yep. We'll have seen everything from the trailer except for Order 66. Unless that's next episode.
It could be.
It could be. Grogu could have a flashback next episode or something. And then, boom, then we have we have because episode 4 is next week, and then we have 5, 6, 7, and 8 of stuff that we have no idea what's going to happen.
Perfect. It's going to be wild. I'm calling it right now.
Perfect. That's like, it's going to be perfect. Like, yeah.
So we normally would be wrapping it here, but we figured let's do something a little fun.
Rate the episode first.
A 7.5. I think it's fair.
Exactly what I said. I don't think any of these episodes have been above an 8 for me.
Yeah.
Episode 1, I gave it 7.5. 2, I gave an 8. And this last one, another 7.5.
Well,
the Bad Batch, though, that fluctuates, dude. I gave one of the Bad Batch episodes like a 3 this season.
Yeah. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we, for the first time on this show, will be doing a tier list. We will be doing a Star Wars.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be interesting.
We will be doing.
I want to preface this by saying in the beginning that we respect sequel fans here.
Sorry for that last tier, guys.
No, not really.
Sorry, but not sorry. All right. So, as you see, there's S, A, B, C, D, and then the rise of Skywalker.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here, I say we go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then do the shows.
Okay.
But we can get this over with. Put Rise of Skywalker where it belongs. Here's the thing, though. I'll give Rise of Skywalker 2 things. Visually, it doesn't look bad.
True.
And Adam Driver and Ian McDiarmid's acting is still on point.
Yes.
But that's like what we like about that movie.
Otherwise,
I remember the reason that I think Rise of Skywalker should just be Rise of Skywalker is because I was sitting in that movie theater as big of a Star Wars fan as you guys know, and I was hyped, man. I was like, they're gonna fix The Last Jedi. This shit's gonna be dope. I can't wait. And I remember sitting there right when they got to the planet that was all snowy.
Yep. And
like Rey and Kylo Ren have like their Force Skype. And like I just remember this, like my brain just went, this isn't Star Wars. And I was like, oh, like I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like taking it in. I was like, cool. My brain was like, it's not Star Wars, bro. And I was like, holy frick, it's not. I had like an epiphany in the middle of the theater.
I'm with you, but I don't know. I do like Exegol a little bit.
Like Exegol. I like the idea of it, but it should have been Korriban.
Yes. And I do like
Korriban from the Old Republic.
I do like the Sith troopers too. I thought that they were cool.
Sith troopers look cool.
Yeah.
Some of it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Like, why are you riding horses on top of the Star Destroyer if the Star Destroyer is going to get shot down eventually?
You know what makes this movie bad, though? Is the whole somehow Palpatine return thing.
That's never not going to be a meme, dude. That's the new, like, hello there.
Yeah.
This is where the fun begins.
Yeah.
Like, if there's one thing that the sequel trilogy gave us that everybody loves, it's the memes, dude.
Yep.
It's the memes.
Well, we were just talking about the prequels, so now this might be where we lose a couple people. Roland, where do you put The Phantom Menace? I got it in C.
I gotta say, I got The Phantom Menace in B tier.
Really?
Let's talk about this.
I think that the midi-chlorians are kind of dumb.
I can't give it an A just because of the third act.
Right.
The third act slaps.
Agreed. Yeah.
Everything from when the Gungans line up and the tanks come over the hill to the end of the movie slaps.
True. Yes.
That's why I put it in B. Plus the pod racing scene is sick.
But it's a slog getting there, though.
That third act, you got the Gungans fighting the droids. You got the Naboo royal guard taking back the palace in Theed City. You have Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting Maul. Yep. And you have Anakin in space fighting shit all at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, it's cool.
It's badass. And then you have that really great ending where it's like, I love that, dude. That's so lit. Everyone's like, yeah.
No.
Yeah, dude, it's sick. The whole Jedi Council's there. And you get that scene with Palpatine where he's like, we will watch your career with great interest.
I do think, though, that, there are some parts of the movie that are just boring, though.
But Qui-Gon's funeral. You can't forget the second half of this movie. Everything after they leave Coruscant and go back to Naboo.
Yes. Slaps. Yes. But the first half is kind of whack. The
first half up. Okay. Why is it whack? The beginning is dope. We get to see Jedi in action for the first time.
The Tatooine part of it, I think, is kind of whack.
That's the slow part. But other than that, so you get the Jedi in the beginning, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, right? Then they escape. They go down. Jar Jar's annoying. He wasn't at the time when we watched as a kid. I still don't think he is now. So you get that part. You get to see the underwater city of Otogunga, which is sick. You get that whole planet. They go through the freaking planet core.
Yep.
Which is all water. They go through the core of the planet, go through all these creatures. There's always a bigger fish. The Sando Aqua Monster eats the Kolo Clawfish, and it eats the freaking the OPC killer. It eats the little crab OPC killer, John, rips it in half, and then when they're escaping the eel, the Kolo Clawfish, they're escaping. I have all of them as action figures, dude. When I was a kid, I bought all 3 of them. I have a massive somewhere. There's this massive Sando Aqua Monster that I have somewhere. But
that's awesome.
And then you get mouth just comes up when they're coming out of the cave, and they're like, oh shit, and it just bites it, rips it in half again. Those things are badass, and they're mammals. The Sando Aqua Monster is a massive mammal.
What do you think about the midi-chlorian thing?
Creatures. And then you have them come up, right? They sneak into Theed with Jar Jar. They take out the droids. They save Padme and other people. Then they have that dope ass scene in the hangar. Where they escape the hangar, they free all the pilots. Obi-Wan does that sick double jump kick.
And
they get in the ship, and they dip, they get through the blockade. You get R2-D2 to save them, on the ship, on the outside of the ship, repairing it as they're getting fired at, and all these other droids are getting destroyed next to him, and he's the only one left. And then they hit the hyperdrive and they go.
Yeah.
And you have that slow little Tatooine part. But meeting Anakin, meeting Shmi, that's important stuff. And you get really good character development between Qui-Gon, Padme, all of them. And you have the pod racing scene, which is great.
Let me ask you, what do you think about...
I will say, that is slow, and then the Coruscant stuff is really slow. But you get that really cool scene with Anakin being tested by the Jedi. You get to meet the whole council right there. We've never seen, keep in mind, 1999, you've never seen the Jedi Council before. You didn't even know there was one.
Yep.
And then back to Naboo, where they set up everything and they're ready to take back with the resistance fighters.
I think the pacing
I think the movie belongs in B. I think the movie belongs in B because I think it has way less slow parts.
I think it's a B, but I think it's a low B though.
All right. Is it better than Attack of the Clones?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, which is why we are, on that now. I think that the Attack of the Clones has better pacing. I think it has a better story. And I think that while I love the Obi-Wan and, Qui-Gon versus Maul fight, I love the ending. I love seeing the clones for the first time. I love going to Camino.
Right, well, yeah, I could. Okay.
I love Django.
I would put them both in B, but Phantom Menace could be a low B. But at the same time, I see what you mean with Attack of the Clones.
You think that Phantom Menace is better?
I think that Phantom Menace has better pacing. personally, except for the slow part, because a lot of people can't stand that whole. I know it was important. I loved it. I love every part of these movies, but I don't know if I think Phantom Menace has some better parts because you get a blowout beginning on Coruscant with Attack of the Clones. Freaking sick. You see Anakin and Obi-Wan meet up with Padme again. You see Jar Jar again. It's like a return to form. It's really cool. It's like, hey, all the homies from the first movie are back, right?
Yep.
And then you get that really dope scene where, they're getting Zam Wesell and stuff, and then Obi-Wan talking to all the Jedi and Yoda and figuring out where Kamino is after talking to Dexter Jester. And, he goes to Kamino. Love that.
I love that scene.
Love the whole Kamino sequence. All of it.
Geonosis too, dude.
Like Django, young Boba.
Yep.
And then when he's getting the tour of the facility, and he goes, "Oh my God, did they walk up to the balcony?" And Lama Su goes, "Magnificent, aren't they?" And you just yeah,
man, that's what I'm saying.
Dude, yeah, that is one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars for me.
I think Attack of the Clones has a better story. I think.
I would agree with that. I can agree with that. That's what I'm saying. I'd put it in a high B, but then that whole everything on Tatooine when he's with Padme, I love the whole. Actually, I'm gonna change that.
All right.
I really do like the whole Anakin and Padme on Naboo and then leaving for Tatooine because you get this sense that they're already a couple.
Mm-hmm.
You really are seeing how happy they're getting together and how much they really are loving each other. And then when they get to Tatooine, Padme is basically his wife. She's following him around. She's meeting all the people he knew on Tatooine. She's meeting his family.
And then you see the dark side come out in him.
Oh, dude, that's the
a little bit.
That's one of the best scenes in Star Wars. And I know this is Star Wars Theory's favorite is when Anakin's riding on the bike, on the speeder bike to go and find his mom. Oh, that's such a good shot, dude.
I do love that shot.
Of him just he's like, I'm finding my mother, dude. No one's gonna stop me.
I also like the transition.
He's gone for a whole day or two.
I like the transition where you think you're still following Anakin, but you're following Obi-Wan. When? That's really cool actually too. But
Oh yeah, when you see Anakin jump down, right?
Yes.
He stops and then it cuts to Obi-Wan. And then that's when Obi-Wan lands on Geonosis.
Yep.
Oh, dude, we forgot to talk about the freaking Obi-Wan versus Jango Fett in the ring around Geonosis.
I know, dude.
Okay, the single best sound in Star Wars is the seismic charge and the Imperial alarm, but the seismic charge changed my. That's one of the single best sounds.
Men don't want to hear the sound of heels, bro. Men want to hear that.
When I heard that in Mando, in Mando season 2, when Boba dropped the seismic charge to kill the TIE fighters, I was yes.
That's a satisfying sound, bro.
Just I love how everything gets quiet. Every time it's used, it's like boom! Dude, it's so sick.
Yeah,
it's the best in Attack of the Clones, though. It sounds the best because you hear all the ships and you hear and then you just hear everything shuts. There's no music, there's no nothing, dude. All the sound instantly shuts off, and then just boom, and then you hear everything, rocks breaking, shit flying. Yeah, that's a dope scene. Yeah, I would put Attack of the Clones in high B, especially between the
Dooku stuff too.
The Dooku stuff.
Yeah.
Dooku literally telling Kenobi after Kenobi gets captured, everything. Finding out that Dooku was actually Qui-Gon's master. And how he genuinely cared for Obi-Wan in that moment. He was like, join me, dude. Telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you shit's gonna go down, and I don't want my grand Padawan to get caught up in this. You know what I mean?
Well,
And Obi-Wan's like, I don't believe you. And he's like, well, you should. He's like,
is there really any question where like we should put the Revenge of the Sith? Like,
no, Revenge of the Sith is S tier.
Like, I don't care what anybody says, bro.
No,
like,
Revenge of the Sith is S tier. Get out of here.
This movie slaps, bro.
Wait a second. We're gonna have a little bit of an issue here.
Why?
Maybe not. Are we gonna group all 3 seasons of Mando together, or are we gonna call that Mando season 1 and 2?
Mando season 1 and 2.
Okay, because we can't rate 3 yet.
Right.
That's part of that. All right. Revenge of the Sith is S tier. We don't even talk about it. You know why it's S tier. All watched it. The movie's goddamn spectacular.
If you haven't seen it though, go see it. Trust me.
If you haven't seen it, watch it. It is S tier.
Okay.
So yes, I agree with you though. Attack of the Clones has a really good ending.
So I don't know about you.
It was badass.
I put A New Hope. I think it's an A tier. I don't think it's S. I think it's A.
Yeah, I think it's A.
I think it's not. It's I like seeing Obi-Wan's PTSD. I like
that video, dude. We got to react to that at some point.
Yeah.
We have to react to that. Have you ever seen that YouTube video?
Yeah.
It's called Obi-Wan Has PTSD. Oh my god. It's such a well-edited, really, really good video.
I think I love seeing the world that, like, you know, George, like, I think the charm about A New Hope is that you get to see the start of, like, the world that George was, like, trying to build. And
I think that I think we could put A New Hope in S tier, and I'll tell you why after you finish what you're going to say, and I'll tell you why. I
think Binary Sunsets is probably one of, like, the greatest scenes in film.
I think that's one of the best scores in film.
Because Luke is pondering, like you know, all that's, like, going to come.
And all right, I'm going to shout out my friend X-Wing right now. Go and check out his video. It's called
We've forgotten what Star Wars is or something.
We've forgotten what Star Wars means or something along those lines, because he makes a point about that. And he says, like, when you see that scene of Luke looking at the binary sunset, it evokes the same emotion in everybody. Of every kid wanting to go, I want to know what's out there.
Yep.
Every adult going, I want to reach for what I want. I want to reach for the stars, because we can all relate to being stuck in a position that you don't want to be in. That's just your life at the moment, and you want more. You want to do more. You want to help more. Because he starts the movie by saying, I want to go and join I'm joining the Empire is what he says at first.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to go be part of the military, which brings us back to what I said in Mando. Not everybody in the Imperial military is evil.
Yep.
And then when he gets to the rebellion, he finds out that his friend he wanted to join in the Empire defected from the Empire and went to the rebellion. So, yeah, I think that A New Hope deserves S tier for more than just that. It deserves S tier for the fact that it blew everybody's mind in 1977.
That is true.
It blew the minds of the entire planet.
That is true.
It continued to be the strongest IP in the world up until, I don't know, I would say The Last Jedi.
Yep. So,
without a doubt, A New Hope started all of this. We wouldn't be here talking about this right now if it wasn't for A New Hope. That's S tier. Not to mention that it revolutionized movie making in general. We would not have CGI. We wouldn't be using as many models and whatnot. We wouldn't have had the cinematography. We wouldn't have had blue screen.
It changed everything.
Yes, it literally changed the way that movies are made today. And it inspired so many other people to make movies, so many other directors that we loved to make these movies. So that is why A New Hope is S tier.
But is it better than the Revenge of the Sith though?
For me, story-wise, no. But for me, what it did to revolutionize, we wouldn't even have any of this shit if it wasn't for New Hope. That's why it's S tier.
True.
They wouldn't have been able to make. They wouldn't have been able to make Jurassic Park. They wouldn't have been able to do stuff in Lord of the Rings. They wouldn't have been able to do like Indiana Jones shit. Like,
is it a question that Empire is like,
Empire's? I was gonna say Empire's A.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like it. I love the story. Empire's story is pretty S tier, but you could also argue the same thing that we argued with the New Hope, that the whole time that Han and Leia and C-3PO and Chewbacca are just like escaping the Empire until they get to Bespin for like 45 minutes. You get some cool scenes, but then again, you get your first like. I feel like if we put it in S, we'll have too many things in S.
But
at the same time, I do think that Empire has an S story.
Can I make an argument though? Because bro, when we get to Cloud City, bro, like I mean, goddamn, like
Cloud City's freaking beautiful too. And Lando is like one of my favorite characters, like in all of Star Wars.
The Vader twist, bro.
Everybody, it goes to show to everybody that likes to say this that hey, look, I can identify with a character who doesn't look like me.
Mm-hmm.
I love Lando Calrissian.
Yeah,
I love Mace Windu. I can identify with freaking Chewbacca. Think I'm a giant walking carpet? No. So I hate that. I hate that people are like, I can finally identify with a character because they look like me. Get out of here. If you can finally do it, then you shouldn't be a fan of it in the first place.
I think that the Vader versus Luke fight, and I think Luke training with Yoda. Oh, okay. That's
both S tier moments. And okay, I could get with you here that Empire could be S tier for the ending of it.
But
because and the beginning.
Here's my selling point.
The Battle of Hoth is badass, but here's the other thing I want to say real quick.
Fair enough. Okay.
Not Luke, I am your father. That's not what he says. Do you know what he really says?
He doesn't say I am your father?
He doesn't say Luke, I am your father. Never
right.
says that.
Right.
What he really says is Luke goes, Obi-Wan, or Vader's like, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. And he goes, he told me enough.
He told me that you killed him, yeah.
And he goes, no.
I am your
father. He never says Luke. But you know what the original line was?
What?
This is how they kept it secret from the entire cast. Only not even Mark Hamill knew. Because they voiced over obviously, James Earl Jones voices over
David Prowse, yeah.
David Prowse.
Yeah.
So David Prowse, Mark Hamill, and the whole rest of the cast thought the line was Obi-Wan killed your father.
What?
So everybody was still like, holy fuck, that's a crazy twist. You know what I mean? But the only people that actually knew were James Earl Jones, George Lucas, and Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote it.
What?
So, like, nobody knew until the red carpet that it was I am your father. And I remember Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, they were all like, what the? Like, they were like, George, you lied to us. And he was like, couldn't let it get out. So the whole cast thought that the crazy twist was that Obi-Wan killed Luke's father, when in reality, none of them knew the line except for 3 members of the whole team. None of the crew, none of the cast, nobody except for those 3.
So
Jones, Kasdan, and Lucas.
So here is my argument.
I would say I would put that in S because that line, even if you've never seen Star Wars, the whole planet knows that freaking line.
Yoda
the biggest twist in Luke history
about the Force. Yoda telling Luke about the Force is why I say the Empire's S. I think
that, and as well as the impact, the cultural impact again, that Empire had with the fact that, that it has the biggest twist in movie history.
Yes. And I think Return of the Jedi, while I love it, I think it's an A.
It's an A tier.
Yeah.
It's got some slow bits in the middle.
I still love it though, but like
I love it. Until beginning's pretty heated. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was callous and all that. It's pretty solid. I'd give it S tier just because I got to see Leia in that sexy ass bikini. But
Carrie Fisher was a beautiful woman, bro.
It's definitely an A tier. It's definitely my least favorite of the original trilogy. I think my favorites are like Empire, Hope, and then Jedi. But Jedi has an amazing third act though. Again, just like Phantom Menace. Like the Phantom Menace, everything after Endor is just on the up and up. I mean, I know everybody has a problem with the little Ewok parts.
I don't.
And I know one of the reasons people do have a problem with that is because they were all supposed to be Kashyyyk originally. Mm-hmm. Like they were all Wookiees.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the reasoning was like that all those Wookiee costumes were too expensive or something like that. So they got like a ton of kids to play Ewoks and a couple small people to play Ewoks instead.
Mm-hmm.
Warwick Davis. But actually Warwick Davis was a little kid at the time. It was funny. That's cool. There's a picture of like Carrie Fisher holding him when he was like a little kid because he played Wicket.
Yeah.
But, I think, dude, that speeder bike.
Whew.
How about Luke diving off the bike and then just getting up and just slicing it? Like when the dude comes past, he gets up, boom, 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 zoom, and just slices the bike in half, and the guy just goes, wee, 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 and just
I love
that freaking sound, dude.
I love the Luke and Vader fight. I think that's one of like.
That's when you see Luke getting a little bit of the dark side.
Yeah, it was so.
And just bam, just slices.
When he was like,
that's as soon as Vader mentions,
sister,
I'll kill you and go after your sister then. And Luke's like, fuck no, you're not, dude. Like, yeah, that was.
I love that.
That was a great part. But then right after that, he notices his father's hand. He's like, we're both like the same. I'm turning into you. That's what he thought. So he's like, I'm a Jedi like my father before me. One of the best lines in Star Wars.
Yes.
Throw the lightsaber away. That is true heroic power right there. Not killing. Going, I'm better than you.
And he was able to turn him back to the light.
Yeah, but then that's the first time we see Force lightning because Palpatine's like, all right, you don't have to join me. Then you'll die. Yeah.
Yup. Yeah.
Bro, and let's just go with the fact that Mark Hamill's acting right there was really damn good. The way he's like writhing on the ground. It's Father, please.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's really good.
Mark Hamill's a great actor, dude. Like
Mark Hamill's a goat, dude.
Yeah. So
yeah, A tier.
Plus
Boba Fett went out like a bitch. So
what about the Force Awakens, Roland? See? Yeah, same.
It's not a bad movie. It's really good. I only put it in C because it's too similar to A New Hope, which I get.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
I think it's a good movie all around, and I think the fact that it rejuvenized the fandom and got everybody super hyped for The Last Jedi. And it had some good scenes in it. And I do like the Kylo and Rey fight. I hate the way Han Solo died.
Yes. I like Finn's arc.
I don't hate the way Han died. I just hate the fact that Han died before being on screen with Luke.
They had
Leia. Because he was on screen with Leia quite a few times. But the other thing about that movie that really pissed me off is that Luke and Leia got divorced because their son turned to the dark side.
You mean that Han and
Leia? Yeah, Han and Leia. We're not talking about Game of Thrones here. Sorry.
Yeah, and but so yeah, I mean it's basically just like A New Hope, but there is like one scene that still gives me chills, and it's probably because of no. So there's like the one really cool scene where like Kylo Ren catches the
laser ball
blaster shot. Yeah.
I like that ability.
Yeah.
And I like the way they made it look. Like, remember when he freezes Rey and she literally goes like,
Yup.
Yeah. It's not like she just stops instantly. She literally like wobbles for a second. And it's like, what the like? And then I don't have a problem with I don't really have a problem with Daisy Ridley. I don't have a problem with John Boyega. I like John Boyega. I like Daisy Ridley. I
like Finn in the movie too.
I don't think Daisy Ridley. I like Finn in the movie a lot. I don't think Daisy Ridley has that much range as an actress.
Not really.
I think she's pretty good, and she's a good-looking girl too. I didn't mind watching her on screen for a couple hours. But
the scene that I love is when Kylo is talking to Han, and Adam Driver just like tears just start pouring out of him, and you can see
his acting there was so good. So was Harrison Ford's. I just don't like the only thing I would not have minded that scene if he had at least talked to Luke at some point first.
Yes.
Or if we had gotten the scene that in The Last Jedi that Mark Hamill recorded where he found out about Han's death, but they deleted that scene.
Yeah, why?
Which is so stupid, because especially since Mark directed that scene himself and wrote it. And so I personally I like that scene, but I also don't. I love Chewie's reaction.
Yep.
When Han gets stabbed, because Chewie's like his uncle. Chewie's Ben's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be like seeing him do that. Chewie's just like, "Oh no, you little shit!" Boom. But Chewie's scream was like, that hurt, man.
Man.
Hurt. And the way that Finn, Rey, and Chewie all scream, and then Chewbacca's just like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Why are they taking out trash now?
It'd be like that.
But here, let me close my window. That should be a little bit better.
You're good.
Now we get into the funny movie.
D tier.
D? Oh yeah. The Throne Room,
because it looks visually spectacular.
It does. It's a really good looking movie.
And the acting again is not bad. And Mark Hamill's acting again is pretty solid. But I don't want to see Mark Hamill drink green titty milk from a sea cow.
The Throne Room is a pretty good scene, but it's
choreography mistakes in it, but
and then
killing Snoke was the biggest mistake of that movie. Killing Luke and killing Snoke were equally massive. Killing Luke was a bigger mistake.
Ryan Johnson,
a massive mistake,
said he wanted to hurt the fans by making that movie.
He said, "I'm completely fine with having a movie that pisses off half the fan base and has the other half loving it." Well, that's completely what you did.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I like my movies to have endings." Well, you're making the second part of a trilogy.
Yep.
You don't need a concise ending, bro.
Yep.
It's dumb.
But it's weird because my favorite Star Wars scene is in one of my least favorite movies because I love the Yoda and Luke scene.
Yeah,
I just love that scene. It's just a shame that it was in this movie. It should have been in The Force Awakens or something.
Absolutely should have been in The Force Awakens.
Not in The Last Jedi where it was literally wasted. And I know that y'all have heard this a million times, but it rings true now. Luke brought Vader back to the light. Why would he not try that with, his own nephew? Why would he just go to kill him? And not try to talk him out of it.
Yeah, but then it's still so vague though.
True.
Because you see it from both sides. You see it from Kylo's side and Luke's side. So it's did he? Did he not? Was it a thing? Was it Kylo having what was it?
Right.
He didn't even fully explain, because that's what Rian Johnson does in his movies. He doesn't like to explain shit fully. Or he explains shit too much.
Yeah.
And Rian Johnson is a great director when he's got reins, but they didn't give him any reins. They just let him go wild like a bronco.
He has made really solid movies too. So
he made the best episode. I haven't watched it, but everybody I know who's watched Breaking Bad says The Fly is one of the best episodes ever, and he directed it. He directed Looper. Good movie. Looper's a great movie. Not great, but good movie. So Rian Johnson has talent. He can make good movies. But when it comes to Star Wars, he said, I want to purposely subvert expectations. No.
Well, he definitely did that.
Don't do that with Star Wars, buddy.
I think that Rogue One is B. I think it's B tier.
I think it's A.
A?
I think it's A tier. Rogue One has an interesting beginning, an interesting start.
The middle lacks.
I love Andor's character.
Yeah.
I love Andor's character from the very beginning. I love seeing Saw Gerrera. I love seeing different factions of the rebels, like the partisans.
Agreed. Yep.
It's great. You get that really cool fight scene with the insurgents and the stormtroopers that are transporting the Kyber in the city.
Yep.
You get the little Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba like thing. With the guys that Luke meets in Mos Eisley Canteen in the beginning.
Yep.
You get them, which means that they're really on their way to Tatooine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then what else do you see? You get, bro, Chirrut and Baze. That movie is sick for Chirrut and Baze on their own. I want with the Force and the Force is with me. And there's good comedy in it. Like when they get captured by the stormtroopers and they put a bag over his head, he goes, "Oh, come on, I'm blind." You know what I mean? Like, oh no, the rebels put a bag over his head. He goes, "Oh, come on, I'm blind." Like, you know, like there's some good comedy in that movie.
Tarkin's in it too, man. And I mean, like,
it's action to action to action, man. You get them freeing Jyn, and then they go to the rebel base, and then they go to Jeddah, and then you get that action scene on Jeddah, and then the Death Star really rolls up and fires at Jeddah, and you see that massive earthquake wave just coming towards them. Like, and they all just barely escape, and Saw stays behind and just eats it like a beast. And then you get like after that, you go to, what is it, Jabimi, I think? Is that the planet?
I think so, yeah.
Rain? It's all rain and stuff. That's a dope scene. And then, you know, everything with Mads Mikkelsen, her father, the little flashbacks you get to her younger, Krennic. Krennic's a great character.
Krennic's awesome.
And then all the people they meet along the way.
Director Krennic. Yeah.
Joining them.
Yep.
Director Krennic.
Yep.
And no, how would Tarkin say it? Director Krennic. Something like that. But yeah, like you get that, and then the X-Wings show up, and they do the bombing run, and like Jyn and Cassian has to get Jyn off the platform before the X-Wings do the bombing run, you know, and then they end up getting back to base after that and everything. They explain everything that they found. Her dad's dead now. You get some more stuff with Krennic, and then you get the best part of the freaking movie.
When the Vader scene, man.
When Jyn's like, "I'm going no matter what." Well, you get Vader's lair, and then Jyn's like, "I'm going to get these plans no matter what," and she walks out, and who the frick is there? Cassian with all the homies that agree. And they go, "It's like 10 men feel like 100." That's badass, dude. That's Rebels. And then they became Rogue One, and then they all get on the ship with all these dudes that are like, "No, we need to do this now before the rebellion is destroyed." And they go, and then you have them there, and I love this movie, dude. And then as they're taking off, they're like, "What's your call sign?" They're like, Rogue One. They're like, Rogue One, and then they just like, they dip off. And I was like, that's sick, because after this movie, you see an Empire, Rogue 2. That's right. This is Rogue 2. We found them. When they're like going to find Luke and Han in the beginning, they never retired the number Rogue One. So the leader of Rogue Squadron is always Rogue 2.
Yep.
Because Rogue One did this, dude. Like, they went there, they risked their lives, they really did. And what's also cool is you see Melshi, who Andor escaped with from the prison.
Mm-hmm.
The Andor show.
Mm-hmm.
He's there. Andor's there. Chirrut, Baze, all these other rebel dudes, and like Bodhi, and Cassian and K2 and Jin, and it's just them, and they're like, what, 25, 30 dudes?
I love how selfless.
25. Yeah, they're selfless as hell. And they know that they're probably all going to die. And then you get this massive fight there. And then Admiral Radis. Admiral Radis is a G, bro. He shows up and he's like, Rogue One, we're here to help you. Like, that's so dope, dude. Like, he was like, ready my ship. Fuck this. We're going to fight too. He's like, I don't care if the rebel senators don't want to fight. Like, I'm going. I'm a general. I'm taking my ships and I'm supporting Rogue One. And then you get like that massive badass battle. People are dying. Characters you see are dying. Each character from Rogue One goes out in a different way. Best one is I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me.
I love
walks that right out there and just touches it. It turns down. You get the Death Troopers in there. Everybody goes out like a badass. Everybody goes out helping.
And then
something really special to help. And then
the ending scene, buddy. The ending scene.
There's a space battle. No, not even that, dude. You got the space battle. There's all these Easter eggs. You see the ghost ship from Rebels.
Yeah.
Like in the battle, which means like Hera's there and shit. And like probably Zeb, probably Sabine, maybe. Like, that's dope. They're all there fighting. You get this massive battle. You see the Hammerhead Corvette come in, take out that one side of the Star Destroyer, and it falls into the other one, takes out the shields. Like, dude,
it's crazy.
Sick ass movie. You tell me that doesn't belong in A, and then we get Vader at the end of it. It leads right into A New Hope. That's an A-tier movie. That's a high-end A-tier movie. That is like, and that Vader scene, freaking sick.
Do you put it higher than the Return of the Jedi?
Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
I don't know. I would argue that the battle scenes in Rogue One are S-tier. S-tier Star Wars battle. That final battle on Scarif was an S-tier battle, dude. I wouldn't put the movie in S, but that battle, S-tier.
I think that's a fair point.
That was one of the best battles in all of Star Wars, in my opinion, dude. That shit is badass. It was just like World War II, what Star Wars was based on, what it was supposed to be like. And here's the other cool thing about Rogue One. When what was his name? The director. I forget the director's name. Gareth Edwards.
Yes.
So he made the writing team watch the top 5, I think it was 3 or 5 highest rated World War II movies of all time. And he sat there with them as they watched them. So before they started writing, they watched Saving Private Ryan. They watched, like, I don't even know what other ones, but Saving Private Ryan was one of them. And they watched all of these, like, World War II and Vietnam movies. Like, I'm pretty sure they watched Apocalypse Now. Like, they watched a ton of shit, dude. And then he went, all right, start writing a Star Wars movie. So all of these famous war movies were stuck in their head already.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see aspects of all of them in Rogue One. Which is why it's so freaking good. That's why the battles are so freaking sick.
For sure.
Like, so, yeah, 100%. And the fact that basically every single rebel that ended up going to Scarif died.
Yeah.
Even the ones in space. Most of them. I mean, remember, because he says retreat, and you see some of them get away, but then Vader's Star Destroyer just, boom, just comes in and just destroys the one. Like, yeah.
What do you think about...
Some of the rebels escaped that battle, but most of the rebels actually just died there.
What about Solo?
C.
C
tier.
Is it
The story is really... Acting is good. Alden did a good job as a young Han, because that's a tall fucking glass, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tall glass to order. And I think Alden did a good job.
Donald Glover did a really good job, too.
Donald Glover was a perfect Lando. Speaking of which, hey, Disney. Didn't you guys announce a Lando show like 5 years ago?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, where's that at?
We're not getting it.
Freaking joke. I would have loved that.
Um,
I told you earlier, Lando's one of my favorite characters in Star
I
Wars.
think that the story has some holes in it, though. I think
the story's got holes. It doesn't explain enough. There should have been more explanation of Crimson Dawn so that when Maul showed up, people weren't like, huh? Because so many people were like, how the hell is he alive? Because a lot of people don't watch Clone Wars, believe it or not. So, like, I thought it was an okay movie. I thought there was some really fun sequences.
I love seeing the Kessel Run.
The beginning chase scene in the speeder with him and Kira, cool.
Mm-hmm.
The way he got his name, stupid.
Yeah, true.
What's your last name? Oh, I don't have one. Oh, you're alone? Yeah, Solo. I don't want to smack you. Could you believe that's written by the same dude and his son that wrote Empire?
No.
I'm like, how did you write Empire Strikes Back? Oh, right, George Lucas was around. But honestly, no, I think if there's one person, I think Theory or X-Wing or somebody said this recently, if there's somebody that should take over Star Wars after Kennedy, because her contract is apparently up, and apparently she's getting this big old send-off at Star Wars Celebration this year, from the rumors. If that's true, I do want Lawrence Kasdan to take over, because even though he wrote Solo, he did write Empire and the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And he worked in the prequels. It's the next best thing to George. Or
I
want Filoni in charge of it, because then Filoni can't do all the creative decisions and shit.
True.
But I would put Solo there because it's a really wonky story, but it has some good acting. Has some good acting, some really good scenes. The train scene, the fight scene with Dryden. I love Dryden. I think Dryden's a really cool character.
Did you like the Kessel Run?
Yeah, I like the Kessel Run.
Yeah.
I didn't like so much the sequence on Kessel, but I like them. I don't like L3. She's annoying as hell.
True.
She's an annoying droid. And she's always talking down to Lando and everybody else. She's annoying.
Yeah.
She's not talking down in a way of like, they tried to do her like HK-47.
Yeah.
From like the Old Republic, where he's always calling Revan a meat sack.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. But that's because he's like an assassin droid who is meant to destroy like organic life.
Mm-hmm.
But he works for Revan, so he's always like, yes, master. All these meat sacks here are pissing me off. Or he'll be like, can I go kill some meat sacks? Or like he'll call your character a meat sack and stuff. Like he'll make funny, he'll talk down to you, but it's not in a way of like the patriarchy. Like that's literally how she comes off. She comes off as like an annoying person on Twitter. and like I don't mind her droid design, but I also am confused on how Lando gets it on with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they do. Lando bangs droids now. Like that like.
All right. So
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, but there's some cool scenes in it, some cool fight scenes, and I liked Woody Harrelson being in Star Wars.
Same.
I really liked his character.
So we're gonna talk about
the little forearm dude, the pilot, and then they killed him in like the first like act.
Yeah.
Like no, don't kill Jon Favreau.
So
all right, now this is the fun part. Now that we're into these ones.
Speaking of Jon Favreau,
wait a second.
We're gonna rank the Mandalorian.
You don't have Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett on there.
No, damn.
All right. You don't have to add them. Unless it's easy to add them. But we could just put them in place and say it when we're done.
I'd put Mando in A tier.
Including season 1 and 2?
I'm saying season 1 and 2, man, it was A tier is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I agree.
Season 1 and 2 are A tier because not only, well, first of all, it's the best live action Star Wars show. That's a fact. It's definitely the best live action Star Wars show we've gotten. And on top of that, Some really dope scenes. It brought a lot of the fan base together in season 1 and season 2, and it actually continues to bring the fan base together on 2 ways: people that love Mando and people that support Gina Carano.
Mm-hmm.
So it still has brought the fandom together. While if you want to argue it's a negative way, everyone's still together on the fact that we want Gina. Most fans. So and we got Luke. That was insane. That broke the fandom. That brought everybody back for a bit. That made thousands of people cry at the same time. Millions of people. Millions of people.
At the same time.
Over that scene.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, A tier.
All right.
It also has one of the best intros to a Star Wars character ever.
For sure.
First words after he just kicks the ass out of these dudes in the bar and then cuts a dude in half with a door. I can bring you in warm.
Or I can bring you in cold. Yup.
I want to hear him say that again.
He says it in the Book of Boba, but it's not the same.
He says it in Book of Boba, but I want to hear him say it again.
Clone Wars is an easy S. I mean,
Clone Wars is S.
There's no.
There's a lot of filler episodes, a lot of slow episodes, but Clone Wars is S. That show made me cry multiple times. That show has a great story.
Five is death, man.
Great character development. It
Yeah.
added so much more to the prequels, and it made people like the prequels even more. S tier. It gave us so many cool characters. Cad Bane, for one. Ventress. Like, it brought Maul back. Yeah, S tier.
Yep. 5's is death, man. Oh, man.
That's the saddest thing in Star Wars to me.
Where do you rank Rebels?
One of the saddest things. Rebels?
Yeah.
Rebels is B tier.
Yeah, same. I like it, but it's not as fluid as Clone Wars is. I think Ezra.
Season 1 of Rebels doesn't pick up until the finale.
Yeah.
Season 2 is okay, and the only reason I kept with Season 2 was because I was starting to really like the characters. Ezra was still annoying to me, but then I really liked Kanan, and I liked getting to see cameos from other characters, survivors of the Clone Wars, like the clones, like Rex, Gregor, and Wolf, and Ahsoka, and a couple other things. The Inquisitor fights in Season 2 were good. And then Season 2's finale freaking slapped.
For sure.
When they brought Maul back and then had, like, Maul betrays them and then they fight Vader and Kanan gets his eyes cut out and it's Ahsoka fights Vader, like,
it's wild.
And then 3 and 4 bomb seasons.
Yes.
They're good. Yeah. Dude. 3's great for Thrawn. Again, slow parts. Season 4, slow parts. Both of which, really good finales and a lot of good episodes in both.
For sure.
Season 4, Ezra is like a badass dude. He reminds me in Season 4 of, like, Attack of the Clones Anakin.
Kind of, yeah.
Like, but a little bit, like, smarter. Like, he's still reckless. He's still, like, going into fight or still making some mistakes and stuff. But at the same time, maybe more like Clone Wars Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me more of Clone Wars Anakin. And by Season 4, like, he's still got dark tendencies. Like, Ezra will do some dark shit. He uses the dark side sometimes.
Bro, do you know what still gets me?
I can't wait to see Ezra in live action, bro.
When it comes to Rebels, bro, Kanan's death, bro, gets me every time.
That's another extremely sad scene. The music is perfect. The way that he, like, jumps out of the ship and stops the explosion. And then, like, he's holding Hera up. The way she screams his name and, like, Ezra has to, like, Ezra knows, man. He's like, my master's not getting out of this one. And he has to, like, grab Hera and pull her back, even though he himself is, like, messed up.
Yep.
And, like, as he's holding back the explosion, dude. And then when he turns around and looks at them, his eyes go back, dude. He gets his vision back, bro. That is so freaking beautiful. the way that like he's been blind for like 2 seasons.
I love
now that he's saved like his friends and his basically his wife, because we know that she's pregnant after that.
Mm-hmm.
So he saves his wife, and basically, and then he's just like, I'm doing this. And then just turns around and force pushes all of them away and just blows up. Like,
I love
dude,
the
so,
score.
and then the way that you see them all in the ship afterwards, it shows a shot of every single member of the Ghost crew like bawling their eyes out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a really good death.
All right. We are on to the final show. We're going to talk about the first 2 seasons. Same with Mando, because the show is currently still going. So I think the first 2 seasons.
No, there's only been we're on the 2nd season.
Sorry. No. Yeah. Sorry.
But here's the thing: we have what 3 episodes left? 4 episodes left?
Yeah, I think we can rank it.
Was that episode 13 this week? So there's 3 episodes left. So we can count this.
All right, where do you put
we
the
might
Bad
have
Batch?
To talk about it after the Bad Batch comes out for the next couple of weeks. We'll talk about it again and review the season as a whole. But as of now, I'd put it in D.
You said
C.
B?
I'd say C or D.
Really?
Maybe a high D. There's so much filler in the first season, dude.
True.
There's
yeah.
so much. It has a great beginning. Really good Crosshair episodes. We have those cool Cad Bane and Fennec episodes. Maybe I'm missing a couple other things. We get Rex for a bit. Well, that's the same thing. That's the Bane episode. And then you have the finale, which was good on Camino. However, I think the first half of the finale on Camino was better than the second half.
Agreed. Yeah. Yes.
The first half where it ends with them running outside and the whole Camino and Tapoca City just being like completely bombarded and Crosshair's knocked out on Wrecker's back, and like, yeah, that ending right there and the way that like all the clones are reacting to like, oh my god, we literally just, are we doing this right now? Are we really destroying our home? And like the way the Bad Batch are escaping and the way that it shows the scenes of all of Tapoca City just empty. All the rooms we saw in Clone Wars, all the rooms we saw in Attack of the Clones, empty.
So then we can make...
Keep in mind, all the video games we played on Camino, all the places, like, imagine seeing Camino completely dead.
Yeah.
And, like, that to me was powerful.
That kind of hurt me a little bit,
dude,
bro.
Camino was like a character to me. Like Tapoca City was like a character on its own. Like, and then to see it just destroyed utterly. And then he says all other cities on Camino have been destroyed. They literally destroyed every single city. They genocided that planet.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I just think I think that's a great ending. But then the whole other half of that finale is them just running around underwater in that tube.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like cool because you got like Crosshair having to work together with them. But then at the same time, I just thought it was a little slower than the episode before it. And in season 2, so far, we've gotten some really good episodes, but we've also gotten some really mid episodes.
Yeah.
So I feel like C is probably okay.
And then really fast, I don't know about you, but I put Kenobi into like low C, high like D tier. I think that's an accurate place for it.
I agree.
It was very disappointing. And then
the cinematography was really weird. And
yeah, it was.
Had IKEA chairs on the ship that he was
and
on.
Then
it should have gotten the production value of Andor. Let's put Andor at C. Can we put Andor at C tier?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Andor C tier. Kenobi, low C, high. I say high D. I say Kenobi's a high D tier.
I think the Book of Boba's D tier.
Book of Boba's D tier as well.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is a shame. Because I love Tamara Morrison, but even when you have the actor who plays Boba Fett coming out and saying, like, shouldn't I have my helmet on more? Like, shouldn't I be doing more badass stuff than just, like, walk around? Like,
Yeah.
You know, like when he says that, when he's telling you the same way that Mark Hamill was telling you in The Last Jedi, this is how things should be written.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
D tier.
Yeah.
And Kenobi's a high D tier, and it only gets a high D tier because Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
Yep.
Reba drags that show down so much, not because of her, not because of Moses Ingram, but because of the fact that that character did not deserve to be in that show for every episode.
Yep. Agreed. Also, it was too short.
Yeah. Should have just made it
A movie.
3 2.5-hour movies.
Yep.
Or one long ass movie. One movie would have cut it, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't think Vader and Kenobi really should have met. I really don't. You could have done a duality story between.
That's it for the tier, though. So I'm gonna stop sharing the
screen.
All
right, that's it for the tier list. So they go in their spots. Andor. Did we put Andor in B? C?
C, yeah.
B. Because Andor had some really dope scenes, like One Way Out.
Yes.
I've gone back and watched that episode with, like, when they escaped the prison multiple times since the show ended. And that final riot finale, bro, when that kid just tosses the freaking bomb and it just boop, 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 the whole, like, street. Marvel's speech, I would give that last episode of Andor A tier.
Yeah. I mean,
last episode of Andor is an A tier episode.
The shots on that show are also beautiful.
It's a beautiful looking show. It is the best looking Star Wars show because it was all filmed on location, not the volume. Why's my head getting cut off so weird?
But yeah, so I mean, that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That was cool. Let us know, guys, if we were thinking about doing Star Wars trivia too.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fun. But yeah, well, that's all that we got for you guys today. We will see you guys on Wednesday for the Rolo next time.
You know where to find us on all our socials and stuff. We'll be seeing you guys around. Again, as always, just want to shout out, John Graber, Space Jockey, King's Advisors, X-Wing, all the
yes, sir.
And yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's always fun, and we'll definitely be seeing you next time this Wednesday. I don't know if we'll have a guest on or not. We might be having somebody that gets added to our show quite soon. And he might be here periodically or maybe every time if he wants to. So
hopefully.
Yeah, so we'll see what's up. Thank you guys for watching last week. Hope you liked it. Hope you're enjoying the Mando and Bad Batch. That comes out tomorrow night.
Let us know your thoughts. Yeah,
definitely let us know your thoughts. And if anybody ever wants to talk about it, dude, we're willing to have people come on here and talk about stuff.
Yes, sir.
Catch us on Wednesday, and we'll see you then. Have a good one, guys.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace.